magical
madness.
Hi, good
Hello, Madison.
morning. Welcome to Coffee Talk Friday. We are excited to be here today, and Austin is feeling a little bit under the weather today, but
Yeah, unfortunately.
that's okay. He still grabbed his coffee, and he is here to talk about a topic that brings nostalgia or fun, and um, and there is spoilers in these coffee talks, so beware if you have not seen what's on there. We will
Spoilers
spoil it.
beware.
Yes. And today, since Austin's feeling a little under the weather, I thought we should definitely talk about a show that might not be Austin's favorite thing to watch, and which I always find kind of joyful whenever Austin doesn't really love to watch a show that I like because he just can't always. I don't know. He usually makes fun of it when I watch this show.
Yeah, I know what we're talking about today because I said you should pick something where you talk more because
Yeah,
yeah,
just
my
feel
energy level is a little low.
a little
But
low.
the show we are going to discuss today is,
Do you remember the name of it?
yeah, I do.
Okay, say it.
Once Upon a Time
Once Upon a Time. So
by ABC.
ABC, which it is now on Disney Plus, so that's why I'm counting it as Disney.
Yeah.
And the premise of the show is all about basically fairy tales. So it's very Disney. And these are Disney princesses, like their stories
But
mixed.
they like twist it or something though.
Yes, they twist it. So what happens in Once Upon a Time is like the main characters are the Evil Queen and Snow White and Prince Charming.
Okay.
And Snow White and Prince Charming's kid, basically. So that's how and their kid's kid. So those are the main characters. And what happens is the evil queen puts a curse on Snow White and all of the fairy tale creatures,
Okay.
and she curses them to basically the now time. So they're no longer living in fairy tale land. They live in right now.
Yeah.
And they can't remember that they're fairy tale creatures. So they all have different names. Like Snow White is Mary Margaret, and the Prince Charming is David. So like they get completely new names. Also, they go by both of the names the rest of the show. Like some people call her Mary Margaret and some people call her Snow. It's crazy. She has two names basically for the whole show.
Yeah.
The same thing with Prince Charming and David, and I'm like, okay, there's not really consistency in the show either, but it's great. I love it. I've watched it multiple times, and especially now it's on Disney Plus, I watch it even more. I think it was on Netflix, and then I think there's so this show, as great as it is, like most shows, goes downhill.
Yeah.
After it goes on for a little bit.
How many seasons are there?
There are 6 seasons. So what kind of happens is they kind of do the same storyline in multiple different ways, and I think that's kind of why it goes downhill because you can only do the same storyline so many times.
Yeah.
You can only do a curse so many times. But for me, if I watch a show, I get really involved in these characters' lives where I almost like I think the characters are real, you know.
Yes.
I talk to them like they're my friends. And that's the same thing that happens to this show. So to me, there's really no bad show because I'm also connected to these characters. So
Yeah.
it's just another season that I get to watch all of these characters. But even like the very last season of this, Henry, who is the son of it's Snow White and Prince Charming's grandson. um,
Okay.
so the last season of this, he like grows up, like he's like a grown adult, and like none of the there's only like a couple characters that are in it, so it's just not as good because all of my people that I fell in love with are no longer in the show. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like this. This isn't very fun. But this show is so good. And what is the main reason why you don't like it?
For me, it feels I have trouble with the acting a little bit. I
Okay.
think the acting falls short quite often, from what I
Yes.
from what I have seen. It also feels low budget.
Yes. So like the CGI
Yeah.
is
Oh
very
man.
green screen,
It's yeah.
but in the best way.
Yeah.
It is very much they are in front of a green screen and you can tell whenever they're in the fairy tale land.
Right.
But I actually feel like it's very good when they're not in the fairy tale land. Like there's not really a lot of it's just like them going through normal life, but they're actually fairy tale creatures. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Was
which is
this
very weird to say.
I remember this show being on when I was like a kid. So this was like early
Yes.
2000s, right?
Yeah. No, a little bit later than that too.
Okay.
So it probably was on um because I know my friends like when I was a teenager, a couple of my friends watched it.
Okay.
But I never watched it as a teenager. I watched it for the first time when I was in college by
Oh,
myself in my dorm room.
gotcha.
And I watched all of the seasons and I loved it. And I think I've watched it probably I think I'm on my fourth time right now, which I'm watching it on and off right now
Yeah.
cuz after I've watched it so much, I know which parts are my favorite. So I know where I don't want to watch,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my favorite parts, if you've watched this show, you know the different parts. But my favorite parts are when they're in Neverland. I, I love when they go to Neverland because my favorite character is Captain Hook,
Where they see Peter Pan.
where they see Peter Pan.
So Peter Pan's the bad guy
He's a very bad guy.
in this
And he's
show.
like an old man in a kid's body and it's just kind of weird, but he's very much like the very bad guy.
Yeah.
Like they do a lot to try to get rid of him.
It is kind of cool though that they switch it up like that.
Yeah, so like the first season, Regina's mainly the bad character who she's the evil queen.
Uh-huh.
That's somebody who they always call her Regina. They don't call her the evil queen unless it's like a way throwback.
Right.
So it's all about her because she's the one that cast the original curse and nobody could remember except for her. And then she adopted a kid named Henry, and Henry ended up being Emma Swan's son, and Emma Swan ended up being Snow White and Prince Charming's daughter. And
Okay.
Henry is the one that believed that this fairy tale was real, all from this book called Once Upon a Time.
Oh, okay. It's a
Hence
book.
the title.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a picture book.
Yeah.
So Henry reads this book and he's like, my mom's the evil queen. And she's like, stop reading this book, Henry. And everybody's like, your mom's not the evil queen. That's silly. This is a book. And turns out he was right. So maybe we should listen.
Maybe.
Maybe we should listen to the kids. Um, he knew. He knew. My mom's the evil queen. This is my real mom. So he brought his real mom in. She is the savior and broke the curse of the evil queen's curse, even though she didn't believe in this stuff for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So once she breaks the curse, then we go into the next season. And what could happen now? Oh, we had to have a new bad guy. The new bad guy is going to be Peter Pan. I'm pretty sure comes in. No, it's going to be Regina's mom's the new bad guy. Then it turns into Peter Pan. Then the next season, after Peter Pan's gone, Zelina comes in. And Zelina is the Wicked Witch of the West,
Okay.
who's actually Regina's sister. And then it just keeps flowing.
I'm impressed with how much you remember.
Yeah, and then I love Frozen, but then they started bringing in Anna and Elsa. And when they started bringing in Anna and
Oh, okay.
Elsa, that was when I started to get like,
Yeah.
a little like, that's when
I
the
feel like
storyline started to get a little
You
crazy.
have to bring Anna and Elsa in if you want to keep the show going, I feel
Yeah.
like.
And then they had like Lancelot in the King's Table. And I actually can't remember what the guy's name is on there. And then they had like Merlin. So it's all of the fairy tale creatures, and then all of their stories just get intertwined, and they're all different,
Mhm.
and they're all not like true to who they are. And then like Little Red Riding Hood is in this, so it's all fairy tale creatures. It's like Shrek, basically.
Yeah.
It's the premise of Shrek, but in a show where all
And
the
I've
fairy
said
tale
before that
creatures.
Shrek should be Disney.
No,
But he's not.
no. But sure, it's like how they all the fairy tale creatures come together and now they live together. This is the show.
So they go like back and forth between real world and fairy tale world
Yes.
or whatever.
So every single episode is like they'll have one scene that's like the real world, what's actually happening right now, and then they'll do like a flashback to something that happened in the fairy tale land, like either before the curse. It's usually before the curse, and that is going to pertain to what happens in the story in the real world.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happens every episode. So it's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's very, I think if you like those kind of shows, it's very good.
Yeah.
And if you like honestly, if you like a cheesy fairy tale, like it's not a
That's what this
like
is.
it's a good.
Yeah.
It's just good. And I really, it's funny because there's a lot of like overlap with these characters and people that are actually like in Disney. Like the lady that plays Snow White, she's the person that's the voice of the bunny in Zootopia.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so you got her.
Yeah.
And there's just like overlap like that
Right.
where um the, like you'll see actual people that are involved with Disney that are actually in this show too. And
You
then
try to
Disney
keep them
bought
in
ABC.
The Disney universe.
Yeah, keep them
Yeah.
in the Disney universe. Because they're good at the Disney acting, right?
Right. Yeah.
So overall, Once Upon a Time, great show.
Yeah. It's I feel like if you like that mystic fairy tale stuff,
Yeah.
like I think you would like this.
Yeah, anything with a fairy tale or a fantasy.
Yeah.
I've probably said this
Fantasy. Yeah.
before. I'm on board. I'll watch it. It doesn't matter like if the CGI isn't good or if it's not necessarily the best storyline. I probably will like it just because if somebody dresses up in a princess dress, I'm here for it. And that's what happens every episode in this show. They're in regular clothes. Regina's in her business mayor outfit. She's the mayor of the town. And then the next one, she's the evil queen and has this fabulous dress on with a fabulous hairdo. And I love it.
Madison's here for it.
Yes. And I know that you're not, but this is definitely a show that I watch often.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll usually cycle through this show. So there's lots of shows that I'll just turn on. This is kind of one of them. If I'm in like a mood.
And this isn't a show where you can just pick up and like season 4 or whatever. You should probably
No.
watch it from
Honestly,
start to finish.
yes. If you were to watch this show, just know that you might not like it later. But I think the first season of this show is fantastic. I think, like, no notes, it's great. The storyline's great. It's just that there's only so much you can do if you keep playing on that same storyline.
Yeah.
It might get old to some people, but I like it.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely not something that you can start, but if you're going to start it, just watch the first season. That's the only commitment you could watch the first season and it could end there.
Yeah.
You know, like it really could, and it'd be fantastic. But I'm glad it goes on for 6 seasons because yes, I do watch every time.
So yeah, start season 1, give it a try, see what you think.
Give it a try, see what you think. I think if you like fairy tales, if you like Snow White, Prince Charming, it'll be fun just because it. Also, the other main bad guy all the time is Rumpelstiltskin. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
What did you say?
Rumpelstiltskin.
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 Stiltskin.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is that?
He's like a fairy tale creature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's in Shrek 4. I thought maybe you might know that reference.
I honestly don't know if I've ever seen Shrek 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for Coffee Talk today.
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time. Go watch the first season. Let us know if you like it. And we will be back here on Monday. So you can listen to us anywhere you can listen to podcasts.
Yes.
And watch us on YouTube. And we will see you Monday.
Our dog was a little crazy during this. I don't know if you could tell or not, but you can watch him.
But that's okay. He's gonna go on his favorite thing now, a walk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's nice out today.
it's nice out.
Yep.
That's
Enjoy,
it.
guys. Thank you for listening and watching.
Okay, bye.
Bye.